relevance, of course, because this is a practical process-based description of program, I needed some participants to participate in this program with their context, of course. And that's why the relevance here is middle school English teachers, of course, in their service. Now this is the skeleton of my construction. As you see, I'm still using metaphoric expression concerning construction, okay? This is the skeleton of my construction. At the bottom, we've got the problematic of the construction, okay? All of concerns, the genesis of my research problematic. Now, part one concerns the literature review. The literature review is not just reporting facts, but it's rather a debate panel. I try to analyze things, I try to interpret things to get, the gist of the ideas. Well, concerning chapter 1, speaking about the constructivism, because we know that constructivism is a little bit outlandish and it's not really well understood or well interpreted in some, academic arenas. That's why I spent whole chapter speaking about this concept. For example, so I started by looking at the cradle where this concept saw light, and of course its diachronic development throughout history. Of course, foregrounding some pioneering figures that contributed to this concept, this epistemology. For example, like Socrates, like Jean-Jacques Rousseau, for example, John Dewey, Vygotsky, von Glassensfield, and John Piaget. Okay, this is just to name a few. Of course, and I moved in chapter 1 to the pedagogical implications. What are how can we change or transfer this theoretical or this epistemological underpinnings into actual practices? For chapter 2, it's a little bit to narrow down the topic. In chapter 2 speaks about purely professional development programs. And it is really a debate panel here, because I try to find out whether or not adult learning situations are really constructivist or not. Whether effective professional development are constructivist or not. And of course, I moved directly to find or to look for a framework that can help me process or conduct this constructivist epistemology in real life settings. The framework I found is about Brown's framework, which is in 1995, as a program concerning planning, needs analysis, implementation materials, and everything. Why Brown's? Because it is really helpful and it fits constructivist ideas. Now I moved also to look for the platforms. As you see, I'm using metaphoric expression of construction. Platforms that can help me construct my materials at the level of questionnaire and even my checklist. I got the evaluation form at the level of the PDJ, professional development journals, and so on. So all the materials, the platforms are here in chapter 2. Of course, I moved to part 2. Part 2 speaking about situation analysis and research design. Situation analysis, I try to find out the context, or to limit my research into Algerian context. I'm dealing with middle school English teachers in Algerian context. So I what we call the three-headed triangle at the level of the learning community, the teaching community, and of course the curriculum. At the micro context, speaking about the middle school, at the level of the learners, the result and everything concerning that, the teacher competencies, for example, learner competencies, and so on. And at the macro context, which is the reforms carried out in 2003 at the level of applying CBA approach and so on. And of course, I found out what are really applied in terms of the training policy, the Algerian training policy. So I tried to find out the genesis of my research here. Now, the chapter 4 is speaking about the research design, the rationale behind choosing such research design. For example, the materials, why these materials are selected here, and of course, depending on the data collection procedures, and of course, data analysis, and of course, limitation. For the part 3, it's really practical because it is field work. The three chapters here depict what I call the process of my program at the level of needs analysis or planning, implementation, and of course, evaluation follow-up. The last one, speaking about the, conducting, concluding thoughts about the results I found, and of course some recommendations. And of course, the end is the outcomes of the construction. This is just to give you an idea. The problematic of the construction context of Genesis. First of all, let's agree that research, or any research problematic, springs from different sources. For example, let's say, biographical personal experience. In this case, my experience helped me a lot as a teacher trainer, as an inspector. So I could analyze the status quo and give me a sort of willpower to bring about some change concerning the status quo. The erudite literature, of course, erudite literature at the level of global, worldwide, educational challenges, effective training. Of course, every nation now, especially at the level of the 21st century, multidimensional challenges, are struggling how to cope with these challenges. For example, now we are dealing with what you call economy-based education, and we're dealing with knowledge-based economy. Education now, as Dean Williams says, it's not just for living, it's for survival. Education for survival. Because high level in education provides new jobs, and you can get jobs. When we say jobs, it means prosperity and social status, which means even at the level of reducing the number of death rate. Ineffective training, I tried to find out worldwide what are the characteristics of effective training here. At the local level, that there were 3 studies, one in the West, conducted by Dr. Abdelhamid. By the way, he was my former inspector. And the second one is in the center by Dr. Abdelhamid, and one in the south, let's say, eastern southern, Dr. Bashir. And all admit, or as the findings here, look, I'm going to speak about the training. We are still dealing with the training at the level of training and development. Training as anyone in circus, just to try at the level of behavior, but not at the level of cognition, just to change the mindset. One-shot training. Now we are dealing with one-shot training, sometimes in isolation. There's no continuing in the process of training policy. The last one is speaking about ad hoc programs. I remember how many times, as an inspector, I've been called or summoned to organize or to conduct programs that we don't know even the content, we don't know even the audience, we don't know even all concerns, and sometimes subjects that we're not well versed in. Top-down content process. Okay, so sometimes inspectors, I'm sorry, it's because some inspectors. No, because in my speaking, some inspectors just summon the participants to come to the training, and they impose, or they monopolize everything at the level of content and the level of process, the methodology. And sometimes the methodology, which is really irrelevant to what they are doing in their classes. There's pipelines and empty whistles. This is concerning the process. So the inspector is here trying to, as lecturing, and the participants are sitting passively. That's why I say pipelines and empty whistles. Lack of teachers, of course, when there is monopoly, when there is this mastery of knowledge, transmission, or this knowledge comes from one source, so what happens? There is lack of teacher self-confidence and self-worthiness. The main research question, so, to bring about change, to develop, or to change the status quo, so I ask this question: which professional development can really help or scaffold teachers to improve their teaching practices and push the learner's learning? So I suggest constructivist program. As a hypothesis, I speak about the constructivist program the participants can construct new ELT concepts, correct potential misconceptions, and of course, raise self-confidence and self-worthiness. This is my macro hypothesis. This is the main research we will ask other, secondary or guided research questions. Now, why this is a question? As a student in a constructivist school, I always ask questions. Questioning create what you call disequilibrium, cognitive disequilibrium, so they can try to answer, try to conduct research on this. So why constructivism? Of course, it is not of the half selection. It is based on arguments. 3 arguments: works 2011, constructivism itself, and of course the approaches CLT and CPA, and the professional development and adult learning settings. To start with, Board 2011 claims that teachers are active, thinking, decision-making learners whose actions, actions in the classroom, think about the level of planning, presentation, management, and assessment, are influenced, driven or governed by the hidden part of the iceberg, which is cognitive construct and affective construct. Borg and even Dean and Williams said, if you want to bring about change here, you have to bring about change here, to change the mindset. Of course, I was speaking about the prior knowledge. I'm trying to get to a little bit quicker. Now, let's move to the second argument, constructivism in itself. Constructivism as a philosophy, if you will, as a epistemology, as an ontology, or as a theory of learning, because it's really, I found really some difficulties to pin it down. Okay? So, for constructivists do not believe in the objective existence of knowledge out there, an independence of the human mind and the human experience that can be transferred from one subject to the other intact, which means it will be sort of replica and the sort of copies of the same knowledge. Constructivists believe in the construction of knowledge, or the active construction of knowledge, on the basis of what? On the basis of our actions on the object. Because constructivists do not believe that knowledge exists in the object itself, but it's constructed through our action on the object. Of course, to speak at the level of ontology, constructivists do not deny the existence of an ontology, let's say a reality as is, von Gastelspiegel 2002. Reality as is, which we call the metaphysical reality, the well-organized reality, the divine reality. Yes, it exists, but can we have access to it? Constructivists say this: we cannot have access to it, because if you say that I can have access to this ontological reality, it means it is perceived. And once it's perceived, it's no longer ontological reality, but experience reality. That's what experience reality is going to say. So at the level of theory of learning, learning is simply based on the construction of knowledge, on the active, idiosyncratic construction of knowledge. Of course, on the basis of our interaction with the experienced world. Of course, there are some processes here that can occur. And this is what I call, of course, Piaget is misinterpreted here at the level of assimilation and accommodation, of course, disequilibrium. Because these processes do not happen in isolation, but they happen together, simultaneously. For example, at the level of assimilation and accommodation, when we find patterns in the internal structure to deal or to cope with the constraints of the experienced world, so here it's assimilation. When the patterns, the constructive patterns, the previously constructed structures, for example, are not enough to cope with the constraints of the experienced world, so here they cause disequilibrium. And what happens? It is an obligation for accommodation. Of course, to gain or to regain what we call equilibration. Because our internal organism always looks for equilibration. Equilibration means the patterns inside can cope with the constraints of the external experience world. At the level of viability, here, not everything goes. It depends on what is viable. And viable, it doesn't mean relevance. I'm not speaking about relevant here.
something relevant, but something successfully that can successfully serve our goals. Because viability is dynamic, is I say in a state of flux. Because what is viable today in this context can't be in another context. To move to Lev Vygotsky, this guy is really I don't know. Yes, he died. Unfortunately, he died really younger. Because I look at the work that he did. Vygotsky, maybe a little different with Piaget and Vygotsky is at this level. Because for Vygotsky, spoke about the construction of knowledge not on the basis of the idiosyncratic construction of knowledge, the idiosyncratic construction, but rather it is about the inter-psychological interaction about the experience world, about the object. But for Vygotsky, the object experience world maybe is culture-oriented, because for Vygotsky, the culture-oriented at the level of artifacts, at the level of practices, at the level of attitudes and so on, they can be transmitted from one generation to another through interactions. And the best, I like this. I like this really. ZPD, zero proximal development. Zero proximal development is what? At the lower level of the ZPD, which is the distance between the current ability, current cognitive development and potential cognitive development. It means what I can do now and what I can do, but with help. This is the ZPD, and it's really misinterpreted. I found some books that speak in here misinterpreted. It's not the distance between what I can do and what I can't do. No, it is the distance between what I can do actually now at this level and what I can do, but with help, with some support. And what I wrote in my thesis, because I wrote something personal, I wrote dependence for independence. Dependence for independence. So the learner or anyone here is dependent on MKO, more knowledgeable outer. For what? What for? For independence. And as I wrote in my thesis, alone, L-O-A-N, to perform alone. And this is at the level of ZPD. Of course, scaffolding is the support, is the help. But careful, I'm not speaking about scaffolding at the level of behavior, level of practice. No, but at the level of cognition. How can I help this? The learner to find the solution by himself. And I think the same thing that Socrates did centuries ago. Okay, these followers. Now, at the level of mediation. Of course, there are three sorts of mediation. There is what we call human mediation, because constructivists do not believe in getting knowledge like this from the object. No. There's also this sort of mediation. What sort of mediation? We've got human mediation. Like Professor Bruce did with me. Okay? So human mediation is a kind of scaffolding for me. And of course there is a material mediation at the level of books, all what concerns videos and so on. Though I don't agree as books are a material mediation, because the books are written by authors. I understand authors, okay, we can say about that, but I'm not going to tackle this, because even Badis in 1970 to 1970 spoke about the death of the author. Because what you interpret is a product of a dead man. Okay, so it depends on what you bring to this situation to understand it. The last level is symbolic mediation. Symbolic mediation concerns what? Is our prior knowledge. For our prior knowledge, help us to construct new knowledge. But there's a problem here. Not anything goes. When I say prior knowledge, it depends on what fits. That's why now it's no longer the case when in our classroom when we say, for example, what was our previous lesson about? It is no longer the case. Because if you want to construct a new knowledge today, and you feel that the prior knowledge that is viable to the new construction, and this previously constructed knowledge I mean, you dealt with, for example, 2 years ago. Why not? Now, methodology of my construction. You see, always using construction because I like constructivism, really. So, on the level of design, research design, descriptive research. Why descriptive? Because I try to describe things as they happen. Things, they happen in real life settings. It's not in vitro, it's not experiential, but they happen as they are. I haven't clipped anything. I describe things as they happen. Okay, maybe I'm going to tell that it's bias or subjective bias. Okay, depends on the because this approach, this paradigm, because the constructivist paradigm is this: I am not an outsider. I am an insider with image vision to my research. I am there and a participant. I work with the participant, and you see I'm using participant or subject. Okay, you see even the words I've chosen really on purpose. So, fourth approach, case study. Case study, why not case study? A case study is just for the case study just for, because I needed participants. I needed context. Where shall I practically describe this constructivist program? The participants, of course, opportunity and purposeful. Of course, I found them as I don't know, I forgot the name. Who says that a group in captivity? Okay? So I found the opportunity and I dealt with participants. The participants were all female, by the way. Okay? Yeah. I'm sorry to say that, but you know, at least you know the members of the jury, okay? So there's no outnumbering here. Yeah, as you see. So all females, because I wasn't interested in generalization, because my aim here is not the product, it's a process. How the process can be generalized. The methods, I use triangulation at the level of qualitative, and so on, okay? I want to say qualitative or qualitative, it doesn't mean that there is kind of polarity, because as a student in constructive school, I don't believe in polarity. Either you are here or there. No, I do move the cursor, sometimes here, closer to that, sometimes closer to that, depends on the... And of course, come on. The constructive program. Now we're going to just to speak about this one. My program is constructivist because it is really it is really collaborative, and it is bottom up. It's not top down. Okay? It is continuing. Maybe I'm going to astonish you. My program has not finished till now. The thesis maybe is going to fade away, but the program is still ongoing. So, continuing, and is cyclic, as you see. The bi-directional arrows, as you see there, and is recursive. What do you mean by recursive? It means needs analysis, for example. Don't think that needs analysis is just at the level 1. Needs analysis can pervade the whole program. Assessment can pervade the whole program. And even evaluation, as you see that. Now look at my objective speaking about construct ELT concepts. Construct ELT concepts. And what's the ELT concept? Because vis-a-vis the context I chose, okay? It can be other concepts. That's why I said the program is generic. Okay? So construct ELT concepts and but careful, here I'm not saying that I'm going to construct the ELT concept for the participant. No. They are going to construct ELT concepts. They are going to correct the misconception. They are going to raise the self-confidence and so on. I am here just a scaffolder, a guide, just to help them, to lead them. Okay? This is what we say about the... Now, the last one, about the events. Not level of needs analysis. These are my 3 guiding research questions. Okay? Because at the level of needs analysis, just to see their didactic and pedagogic needs, and the professional development opportunities, whether they know the available professional development opportunities for their development or no, and of course the level program preferences. Okay, so I found really a lot of discrepancies concerning here, especially at the level of assessment. Okay, still there's misconception of assessment here.
And the program preferences, I tried to find out the program preferences. I found really, I was astonished concerning my findings here. The participants opted for constructivist methodology. Of course, implicitly, maybe they didn't know that. And this is in compliance with what Jacqueline Brooks says. Constructivism is the natural way people learn. So they opted for something natural. During debate, I'm going to elaborate on this. Concerning the materials, the question and observation checklist, of course, here at this level, there were a lot of discussions and negotiations. Okay, even the checklist, maybe I provided them with the checklist, but we tried to negotiate about the checklist, about the assessment criteria, because I find it as a student in constructivist school, I find it sort of, I'm sorry to say that, intellectual dictatorship. How come that you can assess somebody who doesn't know the criteria assessment? Big question. The second one, at the level of implementation, of course I'm going to speak about the period. The implementation I provided in chapter, if you want to, of course that's my thesis, in chapter, let's say chapter 7, chapter 6, everything is there, concerning all the procedures I follow. But just to give some examples, the level of case studies. That's why I said my program is a process, is a sort that is based on events. It's not based on product. We've got the case studies here, PBL, projects, debate panels, micro teaching, observation. Okay. If you want to elaborate on this during the debate, which I know I'm a little bit running out of time. The TBS, okay, think, pair, share, it is really Piagetian and Vygotsky in this one, okay? Think individually, try to construct, and interact, and then you share. This I like, very interesting. I like this, Socratic questioning. Socratic questioning are really good methodologies for techniques for what? For knowledge construction and for correcting misconception. Okay? That's why I said I am not going to change them, because change is internal.